In this video, a full review of the Diagma Flight Yoke available on eBay and Amazon. Here we go. Upon receipt and first impressions of the Diagma Flight Yoke, I was initially happy. Having never had an actual flight yoke, I didn't really know what to expect. And for only $600, I thought I got a bargain. Who needs an expensive Yoko yoke? I was, honestly, a little scared when I saw I had serial number 4. I mean, really? Serial number 4? I have the 4th unit ever made? I thought perhaps that doesn't matter, as long as it's useful and does exactly what it's supposed to do. Unfortunately, my first yoke didn't go so well, as demonstrated in the following videos. I will take the time now to say that I personally purchased this yoke and did not get any discounts or anything from Diagma. As you can see, something has happened. I have lost complete control of the airplane, and it's literally spiraling back and forth and now crashing into the ground. I try again with another airplane, still having very similar issues. It didn't really make much sense because I had played it for a few hours the day before and it worked perfectly. It just suddenly seemed to break right before my eyes. I had just completely lost control of the airplane. As you can see in the video, it has happened again. The yoke is pulled fully back and I cannot maintain speed above stall, and I'm just spiraling out of control. So here I realize something is wrong and I go into the settings. I think to myself, perhaps something in the controls just forgot and I have to remap the axes for the yoke. But after a few seconds I realize there's a deeper problem, and it's only registering the yoke on the roll axis and not the pitch axis. It's only working, left to right and not in and out. So of course I go into the actual settings in Windows and have the same issue and decide, let's try a calibration. And unfortunately that did absolutely nothing, and you'll see that we come out of the screen and I have the one axis, but I'm turning the wheel the other way and it's just not working. It's broken. So much for serial number 4. I contacted Diagma and the gentleman seemed very serious and interested in my problem. He quickly resolved it by sending me a new model that he assured me would not have the same problems. Even though I had quick shipping both times, in the end, even the second unit had problems, as can be demonstrated in this video. Again, it worked for a little bit of time, but then I suddenly lost access again, and I immediately thought, here we go again. So I immediately went out of the settings and checked to see, and this time I had lost the opposite axis. For a more in-depth view of exactly what happened with multiple screens and multiple angles, check out my Diagma review part 2. It was simply supposed to be a video to show Diagma the problems, but it better demonstrates the actual problems I had compared to showing them you here with only one screen. Regardless, even here you can now see that it's the opposite. I have lost the opposite axis, and no matter what, it will not work. I then contact Diagma to tell them that, hey, guess what? Serial number 2 that you sent me in replace of serial number 4 is just as rough and broken. I was definitely concerned when I saw they sent me serial number 2 after sending me serial number 4. Red flag, red flag. So here you can see on the screen that I literally can't even take off. It's pulling me off the runway. It is unflyable, and I'm basically screwed at this point. What do? I end up contacting Diagma again, explaining the issues and how it is broken a second time. He assured me that this never happens, but with the rough quality and construction and the fact that I had serial number 2 and serial number 4, it not ever really happening. On what model? Not serial number 1? Diagma then offered to send out a third unit. I declined and was refunded all of my money and sent back all of the yokes. Now let's take a look at some pictures and some random videos just showing basically the quality and the way that it actually looks. I would like to point out, because I do not believe that I caught video of it, or maybe I did and I can't find it, but those knobs actually turn and tighten the base to the table or whatever you're going to attach it to. When I attached it to a desk and pulled on it, it was very front heavy and flopped around a lot. It needed some kind of weight in the back. It didn't bother me much because I planned to attach it to my sim rig. But for the desktop user, I could see this being a problem. In order to get it to actually mount to my sim rig properly, I had to use a screwdriver to tighten those wheels. Otherwise, it was flopping all around. I actually over-tightened it to the point where they were broken and would not go up and down anymore. Overall, the switches that are attached to the handles worked well and felt comfortable. The materials used to make the actual yoke feel like a real airplane. They are padded and not plasticky, and of substantial size to make you feel like it's very realistic. Here, I don't know why you spend the extra money to have your name embroidered into the yoke when you do not have the actual design down properly. I'm sure that was not cheap, and I would have rather seen a vinyl sticker and more money and time spent into the actual product. It's unfortunate because, again, the handle is very comfortable and easy to hold on to. A lot of design went into the handle, unfortunately, not the rest of the unit. Overall materials are all metal and of heavy construction. Unfortunately, assembly leaves a lot to be desired. Flexing metals, sharp corners, gives you the idea that it's almost hobbyist grade. I couldn't even take it apart completely because many of the screws, which used different styles of heads, were all stripped out. Because of the sharp corners on the back, I actually accidentally scratched one of my tables, picking it up the wrong way. By this point, I had realized I made an entirely huge mistake. I thought I got a great deal. I couldn't believe that people would spend over $1,000 for a Yoko yoke, or $1,500 to $2,500 on a Brunner force feedback yoke. Why would you need that? This is obviously a lot better than a cheap Logitech type product. But in the end, reliability is the most important thing. And those Logitechs keep on going and going. And this couldn't get through 2 days worth of flying. Overall travel honestly was not that impressive. It seems like a lot, but it's just not. And here it comes. Gotta love it, those big old bungee cords doing all the work. What happens when they dry out? And here we can clearly see that the shaft is a little bit too big, and there's quite a bit of play that goes on inside of, in between the stainless steel shaft or whatever they used and that plastic red grommet. Also, you notice some crazy filing they did, I guess, to smooth the edges. And speaking of the USB ports, don't even get me started. The first one I got, model number 4, actually wasn't that horrible. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't horrible. Serial number 2 was really, really bad, to where virtually any type of USB cord I used, they basically just fell out. Especially in a situation where you're using a motion simulator, it's going to fall out. That's pretty much guaranteed. And after doing some research, I found out that that's just using cheap USB boards, and that's what they used. So there you go. Now, like I said, I was able to get the back off of one of them. I wasn't able to get the entire thing apart. I was able to take some pictures, and here you can clearly see I got a broken tooth. And there's that cheap Bluetooth USB board that we got there. So there's that tooth, and you can see that the whole tooth on that gear is completely shot. And who knows, I mean, it just looks really, really bad. Now here I have a chance to look inside, and you can see those bungee cords, and you're going to see exactly how this thing operates. You know, it just pulls on the bungee cord, and that's basically all that's happening. And you can see that the gear where I have the broken piece slides up and down that track, and that gear slides, you know, up and down. And once those teeth break off, as it has already happened, I can guarantee you that this thing's not going to work. And you know, even those bungee cords, I mean, they don't last forever. Now this is pretty obvious here. We're just using some very, very cheap plastic, unfortunately. A quick look around, and we can clearly see that, you know, it's probably not going to be serviceable by you at some point. And seeing as though this is a small business and they've only made a few, chances are you'll be beat if it ever ends up breaking, which mine already has twice. So if you're not guessing here where this review is clearly going, it's going to get the 2 thumbs down, the 0 stars, an F. I would do not recommend buying this item. It's clearly needs a lot more time, of research. It needs developing. That's basically what these big companies do. I mean, this clearly just has not been tested the way a big thing has. I mean, it's obvious with the serial numbers that are on there. In case you're wondering, the throttle in this video actually works very well, and I haven't had any issues with it so far, and I'm very happy with it, other than the USB does fall out on occasion, not as bad as the others, but there are little problems. I think in the end, this yoke just had so much potential and just fell so flat and so short. When you're spending $200 to $300 on a Logitech type cheaper setup, you kind of expect a cheaper type quality. When you decide to step up and invest a little more money into something that you truly love, here's where things get tricky. I mean, let's be honest, yokes are over $1,000 usually for the average, entry-level grade real type yoke. So being able to save quite a few $100s and pick this up, I really thought I got a deal. But in the end, spend the money on the Yoko or stick with the Logitech type stuff. Realize though that the Yoko, although more refined, still operates on similar principles. Check out my latest video on the Brunner CLSE-NG force feedback yoke. Once I had my money back from this one, I decided that I was on the hunt for another yoke, and after deciding against the Yoko because it was basically the same thing, and the Brunner was force feedback, where you can actually feel the effects of wind on the air, on the ailerons and things like that. You can actually feel that through the yoke. Now, the Brunner version was nearly $900 more than this unit, but I was already going to spend $400 or $500 more than this unit to get the Yoko, so it was only a little bit more to get something truly fantastic. Well, that seems like that's going to be the end for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I really hope that Diagma gets their stuff together and, maybe comes up with a new design. Maybe they can reach out, and I'll be happy to test it, put it through its paces, and do a video because I love to see small business work. The flight sim industry is very small, and I would love to see them succeed, but right now I just cannot recommend this product. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.